about yourself?
Yes, I was in the Navy for 4 years. Right after I got done with my service, I went straight to college. Right after college, I landed a job as a manager at the Midlands Hospital. After working there for a while, I actually was offered a job as an administrator at a local college, and I've been working there ever since.
Mr. Park, what is your relationship with Sydney Park?
Sydney was the love of my life. While I was working at the hospital, I met Lee, my beautiful wife, and well, we've been together for about 20 years now. And 9 years after we got married, a beautiful little girl Sydney entered our lives.
Do you know the defendant in today's case, Miss Andy Park? Or, pardon me, Miss Hayden Duran?
Yes, I also met Hayden while I was working at the hospital. She had a daughter, Jessie, that was about the same as my little girl, and they always used to play together.
You mentioned that Hayden had a daughter. What was Hayden and Sydney's relationship?
I think you mean Jessie's, but Jessie and Sydney, they were best friends, really. They'd do everything together. They'd ride bikes, go to the park, like most 11-year-olds. They even play video games.
Now, as a parent, did you ever have any concerns about these video games?
Well, of course I did. Sydney was just a little girl. She was only 11. And so Lee and I set some ground rules that she could only play E-rated games when she was alone, and anything rated above that we kept locked in our nightstand, and she could only play when myself or her mother or even her babysitter were around to make sure she didn't see anything that was too mature for her.
Did you tell Jessie about the rules you had in your house?
Yes, I reminded him multiple times.
Was there ever any incidences when Jessie didn't listen to the rules you had?
There was one incident. I think it was after his 11th birthday. I had gotten home from work, and I walked in, and then I saw that he had brought over this violent video game. And I took it, and I asked if his mother knew if she had this, and she said that she had gotten it for her, and I was kind of shocked. But I reminded her that we had different rules in this house, and that she couldn't have it, so I took it from her. Then she threw this tantrum, this fit, really upset, nothing like I'd ever seen before.
Did you tell Hayden about Jessie's behavior after you took away the video game?
Yes, when I brought the game to her, I told her about the fit that Jessie had thrown, and she said that Jessie had just had a bad day, and I excused her actions, just kind of blew it off.
Mr. Park, had Hayden Duran ever told you about any violent actions that Jessie had at school?
No, I never heard about anything with Jessie at school.
Previously, you mentioned that you were in the Navy for 4 years. Are you familiar with gun safety?
Yes, I was a certified marksman when I was in the Navy, so I was trained to use rifles and handguns.
Had you ever owned a gun?
Yes, we had a break-in May of 2010, and Lee and I thought that we needed some form of protection in case anything ever happened again. I thought since I had been trained to use handguns in the Navy that was our best option.
Now, did you properly store this weapon?
Of course we did. We did everything that we could. We kept the bullets separate. We kept them in the garage, and we kept the gun unloaded in a safe in our bedroom.
To the best of your knowledge, did anybody else know you had a gun?
I thought only Lee and I knew, but on August 17th, I found out that Sydney knew.
What happened on that day?
She came up to me and she asked me where we kept the gun, and I told her that she didn't need to know and that it was for our protection.
What happened after you told Sydney this?
I saw her walk down the hallway, went up to Jessie. She told her that, whatever, I'm sure it's in the bedroom.
Mr. Park, after you heard Sydney say this, what did you do?
I panicked. So I ran and I checked on the gun, and I made sure that no one had gotten to it. I opened the safe and it was there, unloaded like always, and we always kept the bullets separate in the garage.
Mr. Park, we need to talk about the events of August 18th, 2010. How did that day begin?
It started off like any other day. I woke up, I made blueberry pancakes, Sydney's favorite. And then I got a call from her babysitter, Danny Brooks, saying that he wouldn't be able to make it in that day to watch the kids. So I called my neighbor, Keith Dunlap, to see if he could watch the kids instead. And he said that he'd be able to check on them every few hours.
Had you ever left Sydney home alone before?
Yes, I left her home alone when Keith was around, and everything was fine.
Had you ever left Sydney home alone with Jesse before?
No, never.
Mr. Park, what happened after you left for work that morning?
I got to work, and then at around 9:50, I got a call from an officer saying that there had been an incident at my house. So I panicked. I thought of my little girl, and I didn't know what I'd do if anything would happen to her. Well, I rushed home as fast as I could. I flew in the driveway, and when I finally got inside, that's when I saw it. I got inside and I saw a body on the floor, covered with a sheet. Then I saw those feet, those little feet. On them were those pink sparkly flip-flops. The ones I'd gotten Sydney a week earlier. That's when I knew it was her. That's when I knew I lost my little girl.
Thank you, Mr. Park. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Yeah.